Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan team up to guide a teenager on a journey towards winning a tournament in this new film. But the real question is, does it deliver a knockout, or is it just another nostalgic bait of a movie that's not worth your time? Let's get started on my review of Karate Kid Legends. Let's go.
From the town I like nothing, when I'm hopefuls live. A small city or some, but mostly no one forgets. On the outskirts of where I've been, dreaming since a kid. Thought I was cursed to never see a radio hit. A Grammy to industry or something, even close. Miles outside.
What's going on, all my beautiful people? This is JC, and I just got back from watching Karate Kid Legends. Now, before I do start my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you haven't seen it yet, currently showing in theaters. Also, please make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more family action films that I'm reviewing just like this. So, Karate Kid Legends stars Ralph Macchio, Jackie Chan, Ben Wang, and more. After moving to New York City with his mother, Kung Fu prodigy Li Fong struggles to let go of the past as he tries to fit in with his new classmates. When a new friend needs his help, Li enters a karate competition, but his skills alone aren't enough. With the help from Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso, he soon learns to merge two styles into one for the ultimate martial arts showdown. And that's pretty much the basic synopsis, you guys. So going into this movie, I honestly didn't have much expectations because I did enjoy the first Karate Kid film way back in the 80s, and I would watch it as a kid. I found it pretty enjoyable, but it wasn't one of my favorite movies growing up, and it wasn't a franchise that I was always looking forward to watching the next thing. But fast forward to a few years ago, and I actually found myself getting caught up in the new Cobra Kai show. I not only enjoyed them bringing back some of those characters, but the writing was pretty dang good. I mean, for the first couple of seasons for the most part. The last couple of seasons did get a little cheesy at times and felt like it could have been a little bit better, but nonetheless, it was pretty enjoyable. Also, I forgot to mention that I did enjoy the Jaden Smith remake that they came out with years ago as well, with Jackie Chan playing his mentor. I not only enjoyed that one, but it had a more serious tone and actually did something new when it came to this franchise. But when I did see the trailers for this, I was pretty surprised to say the least. Not only did they bring back Mr. Han from the Jaden Smith remake, but also bringing back Daniel LaRusso from the original OG movies and Cobra Kai series. So it was nice to see this type of blend in the trailers, and I was thinking, how is this gonna work? After seeing this movie, you guys, I can confidently say that this isn't a bad movie, but it's not great either. It does have some issues. Now, before I do get to those though, let's talk about the positives. So Karate Kid Legends follows a very familiar formula. A teenager moves to a new city with a single mom, gets picked on by a tough martial artist, and ends up joining a tournament to prove himself. But this time, the teen is Li Fong, who already knows Kung Fu thanks to training in China. This twist gives the movie a fresh start, especially because Li has already been training, and let's just say in the first half of the movie, they start to take a different route with the story. And although I did appreciate them trying something new within the first half of the movie, it just felt out of place and to me a little rushed, because he not only moves to the city, he doesn't really know that many people, he meets someone, and let's just say they need his help. Within that, the movie just kind of starts, and it has this effect after certain things happen that leads him to the tournament. I thought there was going to be maybe a deeper meaning, maybe a heavier plot when it came to those things, especially adding in Jackie Chan's Mr. Han. I thought maybe there was going to be a little bit more of an emotional motive for him to join the tournament. And you start to see some of the backstory of Li Fong in the beginning. I thought, oh, okay, so there's his motive. But with them bringing in this new twist in the first half of the film, I thought, all right, well, if you're gonna bring in something new, definitely stick to that path. The story feels a little bit messy in the middle, and that's when you have that switch of the movie trying to be something else and then going into this predictable route. One minute Li is being bullied, the next he's teaching somebody else his lessons and things that he's learned without much reason why. Then it quickly jumps back to Li needing to get ready for this big showdown. The pacing feels uneven, and it seems like the film can't decide which direction it wants to go. Within that first half of the film, when they were trying something new and different, I did kind of feel the sense of nostalgic tone with this movie. I felt the 80s vibe, it not only being a little light at times, but funny, and all those things that made me think of the old 80s film. And that was the good part of it, I feel like, with the tone. But midway through, when it does change and kind of want want to be a little bit more serious. That is where I felt a little confused, and at times I was scratching my head like, oh, okay, so we're going this route now. And that pacing really knocks it off course, because you not only have something that's rushed halfway through of Li trying to do something else to help someone, but then you have the second half where he's trying to get ready and you have all these montages of him training, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's a little different, but all right. And by that end, the movie just tries to mix a new story with old ideas, and the result is a little all over the place. Now, one thing I can appreciate, though, is the fighting sequences. So if you guys are going into this movie just wanting to see some entertainment, have some funny moments with these characters, because trust me, there is some funny moments, more in particular with Jackie Chan's Mr. Han. He does have a slightly different tone in his character. He's a little more lighter with his jokes and even with his teaching styles. I did enjoy that part of seeing Mr. Han a little bit more and throwing jabs and being a little more joking with his teaching styles, but it does make you wonder if this is the same Mr. Han that came from the Jaden Smith Karate Kid remake. But those fighting sequences, for the most part, are pretty enjoyable. I enjoyed the choreography, and at times I was sitting there wondering, is this really the actor who's doing it? Because they made a really good job of not making it seem like it was Ben Wang. But these stunts and some of this fighting choreography does keep you entertained for the most part. There's a couple of parts though when he is fighting in the showdown where I felt like the cuts were a little too quick and you couldn't really make out what was happening in these fights. That was only a couple times though, and it's not that noticeable to where it will take you out of the experience. I still had a good time with the fighting. And speaking of Ben Wang, he does a solid job as Li. He brings a lot of likability to the role. He has a nice connection with Sadie Stanley, who plays Mia, and their slow building friendship adds a little sweetness to the film. I did like that part of it as well. Joshua Jackson plays Victor, who is a pizza shop owner. Although I wasn't particularly fond of his character, Joshua Jackson was a nice addition to this new cast, and it is kind of fun to watch, but I again didn't really care for that first half of the film with those roles of them being switched. Jackie Chan returns as Mr. Han, and he is as charming as ever. Ralph Macchio shows up later as Daniel LaRusso, which I was kind of surprised. He just shows up about halfway for the showdown and to get ready and help prep, which is cool to see him show up, but he doesn't get much time to shine. The second half moves so fast that the emotional scenes between characters like Li's mom and Mr. Han don't have time to really land or give that emotional punch. With better pacing and fewer fast cuts, the acting could have had a stronger emotional impact. It feels like they really got two different ideas for this movie and just kind of mashed it together. As far as the fan service, because I do have to bring that up, I mean, I did go to see this with my father, and he grew up watching the Karate Kid films and even Cobra Kai. He really likes this franchise. He really enjoys it, and he wanted to really see it for the fan service, but there were times where he was like, wow, I didn't see that going this way, and okay, what's going on? And that again goes back to the pacing, but there's definitely fan service in here. Some of it works and some of it doesn't. Seeing Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio together on screen is a big highlight for longtime fans. I like the training montage and them going back and forth on kind of how they're going to train Li Fong and which fighting style is better, which moves are better, what they should focus on, and how he should use it in his big showdown. And I did also enjoy the fact that there is a quick backstory connecting Mr. Han and Mr. Miyagi, which is a nice touch even if it's done with a cheesy voiceover and some reused footage. The film throws in references and callbacks, but they often feel forced or rushed in my opinion. Even a touching moment later in the film where Daniel gives Li a special headband gets buried under flashy editing and loud music. So let's talk about the villain as well. The villain, Connor Day, and his teacher O'Shea are also pretty basic, with barely any personality. Connor gets just a tiny hint of depth, but not enough to stand out. And I was kind of surprised even watching that first half of the film. I thought, okay, we're gonna get depth later on in the movie with that character, and you don't. The villain, for the most part, is just one-dimensional. He's pretty much one of those basic bullies that you just want to see lose. Now, here are my final thoughts, you guys. Karate Kid Legends tries to bring something different to the series with with a couple of ideas and mashing two films into one. Although the first half of this film gives a bit of originality and could have made a different, bolder take, sadly the film switches and tries to be something else for the sake of the fans, and the movie quickly shifts back to the classic Karate Kid formula, aka training montages and a big tournament. It doesn't take enough time to explore the fresh ideas it introduces, or just sticking to the older formula. And because of those things, the movie has trouble finding its identity. It wants to be both a sequel and something totally new, but doesn't balance those goals well. While it does pull together characters from the 2010 and 1984 films, the mix ends up feeling more like a patchwork than a smooth blend. The final fight though, which takes place on a New York skyscraper rooftop at a sunset, is exciting and looks great, even if it's a little bit over the top. I did enjoy that battle sequence, loved it to be honest. With all that being said, you guys, I'm gonna give Karate Kid Legends 3 flames out of 5 in a fair or film rating.
Okay.
I feel like you will enjoy it for the most part. If you're not into this series that much, you just kind of want to see the fan service, some good fighting, and some laughable moments. Karate Kid Legends has some entertaining parts, especially the early twists in the first half of the film, and with the solid fight choreography. There are also some sweet moments between the leads and a few good callbacks for some of the fans, but overall it feels like two different movies crammed into one. The pacing is too fast, the story feels uneven, and much of it is predictable. Now, although this film isn't great, it's not terrible either. It has some things to like, but you're probably better off waiting to stream it, to be honest. Alright guys, so have you seen this film yet? What are your thoughts on it? Are you looking forward to seeing it? Let me know in the comments below. Last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name is Jacey, and until next time, I'm out.